followed by Francisco Lopez, and then Amy Urban. And if I call a name for someone whom you know has left, let me know that and we'll be able to move along. So, Teresa Raeford, followed by Francisco Lopez.
Hi,
Welcome.
thank you. And my name is Teresa Raeford, and I just wanted to say for the record that I am a Black Lives Matter activist. I'm a lead organizer for a movement called Don't Shoot Portland, which is a community action plan. And I wanted to say that my inspiration for becoming an activist was in response to my nephew being murdered in community violence. And so since I did that, I realized that the only way to fight the community violence was by helping be an influence and constructor of policy. And a lot of that policy is built and legislated and built into language here in the state capitol. So in my activism, I've encouraged education and organizing around civic engagement. I've encouraged hundreds, if not thousands, of members of our statewide community to engage in the process here in Salem. When I saw those videos, the first thing that came to mind, because of the position of the person who posted them, was that if the city that is in charge of the residency of our state capitol, which is in charge of receiving people from throughout the state, is not a safe place for our activism, for our civil liberties to be expressed. Because of that encouragement, then it's not safe for me. I felt that the families that stand on the front line of the activism and the work that we do to achieve racial justice, that it could simply be stopped by the fear factor that is provoked when someone sees that someone in a position of political power has the type of interest in promoting that type of agenda. So I wanted to commend you, first of all, for making the decisions and the statements in regard to public safety. But again, like some of the speakers that were here, I would like for you to engage in the racial inequities and the understanding of what it's going to take for the long-term goals as state leaders. You are in the city council, but you are state leaders because you do know that this is a capital. I hope that the engagement goes further. I hope that the engagement turns into an educational tool. I hope that you continue to be a standard for this country because you do have a global audience at this time. And I hope that you engage with other parts of the state so that people like myself, other activists, other people that want to come to the state legislature and put their voices on the record, I hope that you mandate a response that is taken out statewide to encourage people to facilitate the process in our state legislature and to feel safe and welcome when they come to the city of Salem. I'm saying this as a fifth-generation Oregonian. My great-grandmother was born here in 1889, so me coming down from Portland, I'm local. Okay? And when people in this city ask me to come out to advocate for them, I'm hoping that us being here together tonight, that it equates into a long-term relationship with leaders here and leaders in other parts. And I've made that proposal to you, and I hope that it works. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate your testimony and your time to come down tonight. Francisco Lopez, followed by Amy Urban. Welcome.
I'm Francisco Lopez, and I'm a resident of Ward 4. I'm a Latino immigrant, and I'm here to, I can brag for the next 10 minutes about what my organization does, but that's not important. I can brag how important my church is, but that's not important. Let me tell you what is important. On August 10 of 2016, because of the climate created by the president-elect, two white supremacists in Gresham, Oregon, ran over a 19-year-old African-American man and killed him with vengeance because of the words that came out from the mouth of the president-elect and elected officials. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, and he almost said, I don't care really you love me. I want you to not lynching me. We don't want to be lynched. A week ago, some of us here had a meeting with Latino immigrant families. They don't want to send their kids to school because they get bullied because they are immigrants. We got phone calls from African American members of this community saying, where do we go? What do we do? And I say, I don't know. Let's call Teresa from Don't Shoot Portland. I don't know. There is a fear, but the fear is bigger than anything. Sometimes the words that come out of our mouths about people of color have bigger repercussions that we cannot imagine. And I will tell you, as a man of color, I cannot imagine anybody tell me, I know how you feel. You don't know how I feel. You don't know how I feel when I walk next to a big truck with a Confederate flag and a U.S. flag in the streets of Salem. You don't know how I feel. And what I want you to know is, we need to prevent that these things happen again. And put, First Amendment, anybody can do that. When a city employee or a city official make that kind of comments, it's like giving a blessing for people like white supremacists to act on that. And that means this is an issue of not policy, this is an issue of life and death. That's what this is. So that's what I'm here today. The other is just academics and good speeches, but this is about somebody who will get killed just because we refuse to have preventive measures that will prevent anybody from killing a black or a Latino, somebody from the LGBTQ community. That's what is happening. And I want to challenge you to do that. I met with the family of Lionel Bruce, and I want to tell this to the council member, Nancy.
I'm sorry, your time is up. Can you wrap up?
I'm about to wrap up. They say, I asked them, how do you feel about the white supremacists that killed your son? And she said, I don't hate them. I love them, but I love with a redemptive love. And that's what we want to say. Yes, he needs to redeem himself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your testimony. All right, Amy Urban, followed by Maria Garcia.
Hi, I'm here today to deliver a petition that we started asking for Council Member Benjamin's resignation.
Sorry, Amy, can you please introduce yourself, give your address or your ward?
Sure, my name is Amy Urban. I live in Salem, just outside Ward 4.
Okay, thank you.
While Council Member Benjamin has already resigned, I think it's important that you hear from each of the people, more than 282 people that signed the petition. This was not done as a part of an organization. It was a group, it was a bunch of people that just looked at each other and said, you know what, this isn't okay. What can we do about it? And that's how this petition started. I'm here today to say thank you. Thank you to Mayor Peterson and our city council members for your clear message in the aftermath of his intolerant social media posts. Posts that targeted African Americans, the LGBT community, and refugees. Individuals that are important threads in the fabric of our local community. Specifically, Mayor Peterson, your proactive inclusiveness videos show that you have the current pulse on both national and local fears and the fallout from the recent presidential election. I'm grateful that you took such a decisive stand to show Salem to be the tolerant, inclusive city that I know it to be. I'm grateful for the actions I saw last week from our city council members. Tom Anderson, who spoke out clearly against hate on Facebook, and my nearest ward representative, Steve McCoy, who wrote back to me personally, quickly and supportively when I contacted him. But I also want to be sure that we don't consider his resignation to be the end of our efforts toward inclusivity in our city. Intolerant speech, while it may be shut down through one channel, will always reappear via another channel until those who hold those views come to understand the groups that they're harming. We each have limitless opportunities in Salem to meet and understand people in the groups Benjamin's post vilified. Each of us, every day, has personal interactions with people of different races, religions, and sexual orientation. They are our neighbors. And as one of the speakers mentioned earlier, I always want to think about who hasn't been represented tonight. And closest to my heart personally are our new refugee neighbors and the diversity they offer our community. Do you know that we have residents here, sisters from the Democratic Republic of Congo, who walked as teenagers from their war-torn country 1,000 miles across Africa because they'd heard of rumors of help in Kenya. Do you know about the new residents from Somalia who waited more than 1 decade in a refugee camp before being given the opportunity of a new life in our city? Or the new Salem residents, a family from Syria who, after fleeing their country in fear and spending years in chaos and upheaval, spent Halloween with their new Salem friends trick-or-treating and carving pumpkins. So thank you, Mayor Peterson, and each of you on the Salem Council. I'm looking forward to working with you to keep our city inclusive and tolerant.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your testimony and your time. All right, Maria Garcia, followed by Julie Eaton, and then Florence Dority.
Hi, good evening. My name is Maria Garcia. I'm a Portland business owner and a board member for Township Portland. And I just would like to ask you a question. Do you represent all people, citizens of Salem? Yes, please, directly. Yes. Is it in your hands and power of this Salem City Council to protect the human rights of all living citizens of Salem? I think so, that's what I understand. Because then I understand that inmates housed in Oregon State Penitentiary are still part of the city of Portland, Salem, and in spite of losing some of their rights. I also understand that this city council should have ties with Oregon Department of Corrections, which building is on 4th Street. And to ODC, this council will be connected with its citizens, inside Oregon State Penitentiary. We need help for these people. We have 2 meetings already with Department of Corrections. We brought Teresa, Francisco, and myself. We brought to the table the attention of Colette Peters, Inspector General, the issues that Black and Latino inmates are having inside OSP. I personally have a loved one who's incarcerated and has been harassed in different ways, put in solitary confinement for no reason, and is constantly suffering retaliation from a specific individual named is a Lieutenant Douglas Jansen, who's the head of the STM department, who has to report to Inspector General. This ODC employee has created false reports of my loved one because he has advocated for Latino communities. His grievances are not being processed. We have been ignored 2 times by the Department of Corrections, and we request your support to bring a third party to investigate what's happening, all the corruption and mafia that is happening and is taking place inside OSP. And we have brought to the attention of Colette Peters, and she has ignored us. We have another meeting on the 30th of this week, coming. And we expect to get some answers. We need protection for our inmates, for our people that are Black and Latino inmates. We really need help. We demand the removal of this lieutenant who's sending inmates to solitary confinement and creating false reports about them. We need a third party to investigate what's happening inside there, and we would like an audit for them. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Julie Eaton, followed by, I believe it's Lori Dority, and then William Collins.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Julie Eaton. I live in Ward 3. Thanks for letting me get up and speak. I did feel very compelled to come up today and speak and stand with people of color, LGBTQ community, Muslims in my community. I do have privilege of being white, and this is how I choose to use it, is to stand with my friends and neighbors. I'd also like to thank the council people and Mayor, who got back to me. I emailed last week, except for Mr. Nicky, who is actually my ward. You didn't return my email, so maybe get back to me later. I'm very happy that you guys acted very swiftly to get this taken care of quickly. I don't want Salem to be, I love this town and I don't want it to be blemished with this. And now that we've done this, we have to keep striving. We have to keep walking the talk. It's, like Amy said, it's not over. It's gonna keep going. I would like to tie in another subject of the cyberbullying by the police officers. Last week when I did, I posted quite a bit about this thing going on with Mr. Benjamin. And I posted the letter that I wrote to the council members and to the mayor to hopefully maybe inspire some people to get involved. If it made them mad, here's an example of what you can write, you know. I was cyberbullied on that post, horribly. And he not only cyberbullied me, but he copied and pasted things from my Facebook page and put it on his page, calling me all sorts of names, making up things about me. Now, one of the things about this guy is I went on one date with him when I was in middle school. And he lives in my same town, which is terrifying to me, you know. This woman in Chicago has the benefit of a couple thousand miles between her and our police officers. But one of the things that my friends keep telling me about this guy, oh, he's a nut job, he's a wacko, don't worry about him. I want you to know if there's people in Chicago trying to settle this woman down, calling our police officers nut jobs, wackos. I can tell you that I'm terrified that I've got this guy posting stuff about me. Luckily, I have a friend in common who's been giving me screenshots. But I want you to think about that when you want to excuse these police officers' actions. It really affects people deeply. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, Lori Dority, followed by William Collins, and then Dale Hendricks.
Yeah, my name is Florence Dority. I live in Ward 2. I'm a member of the Racial Justice Organizing Committee, as many people here are. I'm also a coordinator of the Salem chapter of 350 Salem, Oregon, which is a climate action group. And one thing you learn when you pay attention to climate change is that the disasters, the storms, the floods, they blow through and they fall on everybody, but it's the aftermath that matters. When you look at the aftermath, when you look at who gets help, who gets the resources to fix things, who has the power to make things work again, that's very different, it's very unequal, and you know, some people get help, some people are made whole, some people are not. And I feel like the election of Donald Trump was like that storm, was like a big storm that kind of blew through, and we all shuddered, but it's the aftermath that's gonna matter. The danger and the harm and the hurt are gonna fall on different members of our community, they're gonna be very unequal. There's a lot of goodwill here, but we can't just rest on that. I'm just looking up the Marion County election results. Donald Trump got 48% to 44% for Hillary Clinton. So we are not immune. The goodwill may be in this room, but not everyone in this community is of goodwill. And we have to be watchful, we have to be careful, we have to take care of people, we have to know who's vulnerable, we have to reach out, we have to be proactive. We can't just go home and just sit on our, you know, this nice feeling. We have to talk in our neighborhood, we have to find out who's hurting and protect them, and we have to be building a strong community that is really, really, really a place of goodwill, because that's going to take work, and it's not just going to be tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, William Collins, followed by Dale Hendricks. Welcome.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Will Collins. I reside in West Salem. I would like to thank you for listening to us speak and keeping our city representatives accountable for hate and racism. As a black man in Salem, I fear I could be another national tragedy. I've been stopped by the police more than I can count, easily over 20 times. Almost all of these stops were to ask me, what are you doing and where have you been? These were not stops due to reckless driving. During each of these experiences with the police, I fear for my life. I am an innocent, productive citizen of Salem. I work at an elementary school and I volunteer to mentor students. I conduct myself in a manner that my students can be proud of. Every time I see a news report of a black man being murdered, I truly believe that it could have been me. Racially profiling is not just elsewhere across the country, but it is right here in our own community. I thank you for your efforts in making our community safer and providing a safe space for our voices to be heard. I challenge us all to keep it up.
Thank you
I
very
like
much.
to let
We
people
appreciate
see
your
this
testimony.
cocksucker over there.
Dale Hendricks. If I'm not saying that name right, I'm really gonna get it, I think. Followed by Deborah Patterson. Welcome.
Yeah, no worries. There's actually no S, close enough though. So I